Good day. I love the fact, as I just told my co-host, Mr. Paul Peluso, our managing editor, or what's your new title now?
I don't know.
Okay, neither one of us. I love the fact that we can do these podcasts in such a raw and unfiltered fashion. We don't have a strict script. We do have coffee to help us talk, and then we can restart when we need to. But good morning, Paul. Welcome to this week's episode of the lineup, where we have, I think, six this week's stories that we're going to discuss, and two of them are related. How's the weather in Southern Florida today?
Yeah, down here in the Tampa area, and thanks for having me, Frank. I always love doing these things, but down here in Tampa, it's great. It's beautiful. It's in the 70s in the morning, and then of course it creeps up to almost 90 with like extreme humidity in the afternoon, and then goes back down to the 70s. So it's that like weird fall that we have where it's all over the place. How's
You call
Maryland?
that fall? We were in the 50s here in Maryland
Yep.
last night, and we're going to top out at not quite 70
Yep.
today. I can live
Wish I
with
was
that.
there.
I like that. It's
Yeah.
windows open, good sleeping weather.
Yep.
Anyway, so this week, um, I hate to beat the old drum, but our first story up comes from a place called Fairview Heights. Hey, what state is that? Um, where a driver, oh, it's in Illinois. Okay, I understand. Rams a police cruiser, and his justification was, well, I was bored and I hate cops. So now apparently, just for entertainment value, this guy rammed a police car. Thankfully, nobody seriously injured. He was driving a Chevy Camaro. I'm like, hey, dude, if you're bored, you want to wreck your nice Chevy Camaro, okay, go run into a telephone pole. Quit attacking the police. I thought we were done with this. I hate cops. I've got nothing better to do. Let me go out and screw up their day. Apparently, we're not.
I love if you look at the images of this thing, like the crumple zones of sedans versus an SUV. The Camaro is just he just totaled. Did he steal this vehicle? Like what's the what's the background on why did he destroy his Camaro? Was it his dad's? Was he upset? Apparently the kid was on weed pills. Was it
Yeah,
said so? But like okay, you hate cops that much. Camaros aren't cheap. They're
yeah,
not.
so I'm on drugs. I hate cops, and I'm bored. And instead of doing what folks did 50 years ago, which is go out and buy a whole bunch of brownies, he decides to go out and wreck into a police car and totals his Camaro, probably. Thankfully,
Total.
nobody hurt.
Yeah, yeah. I need more background on the origins of this vehicle. But but yeah, that's something. Yeah, I don't know. That you would think
Let's bring back the munchies and
yeah,
not vehicle accidents. I'm
but
in favor of munchies.
hop on and play a video game or something. But but yeah, so you would think that the culture's changed a little bit back in the right direction, right? Like from what we've seen, more respect for cops. But yeah, it just goes to show some people just aren't in the right mindset.
I will definitely give that to him. Not in the right mindset. So from Illinois, we're going to go to Michigan, and uh, I hate to use the word horrific, but it was the incident where a former Marine is accused in attacking a Mormon church up there. With 10 people shot, 4 people killed, others injured. Some people, I mean, they were still. So this was several days ago, and they were expecting to find more injured in the rubble or more dead in the rubble. Some call this a terrorist incident. Some people don't. People say, well, the guy was an Iraq war veteran. And look, that's not an excuse. I just was reading stuff on LinkedIn today about another guy who said, there's a reason why everybody does everything. And sometimes we can't hold it against them. Well, at the end of the day, no matter what our background, no matter what the impetus, no matter what the stimulus, we are all responsible for our behavior. And I hate to see a former Marine doing something like that. Unfortunately, it's not the first time. Go way back to 1966 and Charles Whitman in the Texas Tower. Have you seen any updates on this? I have not, and we can't get away from this. I mean, we're going to see mass attacks, whether it's driving a vehicle into a building or shooting people, or both in some cases. We have to be prepared for it as best we can, and it's a shame that we have to try to plan to prevent it, but we do.
Yeah, I haven't. just checked for some updates. Didn't see any updates on death count or injuries or anything like that. There are stories coming about the heroics in the face of this tragedy, people being rescued. Even I think like a 14-year-old rescued someone during
Yeah.
the attack, like stuff like that, and that's good to see. But it's just horrible to see these events happen. And yeah, like you said, whatever you want to label as terrorist attack, hate crime, whatever, it's not only the shooting, but the fire. Like that place is destroyed. And
Yeah.
it's, how do how do you put security around a church when how many churches are there in the US? Like that,
Well,
you do.
and unless you're going to put a 50 caliber on the roof to stop a vehicle before it gets there, there's really not that much you can do. But and that's what I'm saying. It's a shame we have to plan for things like that. There's such a thing as landscaping security, where you can set up space
Yeah.
around the church where you can't drive anything short of a tank up to and into the building. And it's unfortunate that we're going to have to start retrofitting churches with these types of barriers and barricades to stop vehicles. And then you
Well, so at the Station Design Conference, we talk about this all the time, that there's ballards and different things that you can set up outside.
yeah,
And even to do it aesthetically too, not to just have these big concrete barriers, but something, they have planters in them, they have, stuff around them.
you can
But
make them look decorative,
yes.
but they're still at the end of the day barriers or barricades.
Yep,
Yeah.
in different elevations and stuff like that, especially with law enforcement facilities, but with churches, a lot of these are older. So, like you said, you do have to go back and retrofit if you're not building a new one, and that's a lot to do. I mean, it's a lot of money, and who bears the responsibility to pay for those things? And yeah, it's a lot to expect. But
Well,
yeah,
and I want to get I've had a guest on before, a gentleman named Guy Beveridge, a guy named Guy, who's one of the foremost experts in the country on church safety and security. And I'd love to get him on and talk to him about it, because that exterior design, I would think that budgeting, that would just be part of church security. I mean, and is it going to cost money? Yes. Can the cost be spread out? Yes. Can they do special fundraisers and stuff? Yes. I mean, and I'm not being critical of churches, but they have tax exempt fundraising capabilities that commercial entities don't. Um, and what's it going to cost to put some kind of barrier? And unfortunately, you can't just do it. I mean, you start out doing it at the doors, right? It's one of the most uh, weakest points of a structure. You drive through a door because you don't have that much structure. We can block the door, and then somebody with a big enough car is going to drive through a wall. Um, so you start with the doors, and then it's an ever expanding project. But you can beautify the property. We need to do it, and some places you can't. Like, I'm thinking of churches that are on city corner, city street corner, the block corner, and there isn't enough room to put stuff in. It's just the sidewalk. Cool part is a lot of those structures are the old stone, like vault kind of churches you can't really break into. Anyway, um, hate to see it. Sorry.
yeah.
And great plug for station design. People ought to be paying attention to that. From there, we're going to go to New York. Now, we were just talking about what's being called a terrorist attack in Michigan. New York governor is asking President Trump, demanding President Trump reverse deep cuts to anti-terrorism funds for the New York Police Department and Fire Department. Now, I admit I'm a cop. I used to be a volunteer firefighter. What is anti-terrorism? We got to get Peter on the phone. What is anti-terrorism funding for the New York Fire Department go to?
It does, there's, you know, bomb squads and whatnot that fire departments
Okay. All right.
involved
That's
in,
fair.
things like that, hazmat crews. Yeah, there's a lot of it's not just fire, when you think about that. And even response to terrorist attacks, like, paramedic squads and whatnot. You need
Okay.
all that. And but yeah, so this is a tough one, right? Because it's really political. And it's,
It is.
withholding federal funds to, a state and a city that has had the biggest attack.
Yeah, I
But
mean it's
say
kind
it,
of unconscionable to think about cutting funding.
yeah,
And when I mean 9/11's 24th anniversary was last month.
yeah.
How do we forget that? How is that not? Anyway, keep on going. Sorry, I interrupted.
Well, no, 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 you didn't. That what there has to be, states should be able to do what they need to do to protect themselves, but at the same time, it is federal funds. It's money coming from the federal government, so they
Yeah.
do kind of the president has a say in that, and those in charge have a say in where those federal funds go. So it's it's not a good look for anybody here that the governor kind of has to gravel in a way, and that the president's saying, no, I'm not going to fund the NYPD and the FDNY. That's a bad look. But it's just, this political
So
strife in this country, and the
yeah,
how separated everything is. It shouldn't be a question whether or not you fully fund, you know, the
counterterrorism. However,
NYPD and the
yeah,
FDNY.
no, I agree with you 100%.
Politics aside, it doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't matter.
Well, but apparently this is, like you said, it is
Yeah.
political.
Yeah.
Um, you know, DHS Secretary Noam, she's saying that the federal government's going to cut off as much federal funding as
Mhm.
possible to the states, cities that are opposing the current administration's crackdown on illegal immigration.
Of course.
Okay, so does it make sense? And I'm completely playing devil's advocate. Y'all feel free to send me hate mail for this question. It's not what I actually believe, but it's a thought process. Does it make sense to keep giving counterterrorism money to a city that then invites illegal immigrants in by the tens of thousands? And how many terrorists are coming in with them? So isn't the message, if you want to fight counterterrorism, stop supporting illegal immigration and we'll give you your money back to fight terrorism? Do you think that's the political play?
What is? Yeah, yeah. It's all a quid pro quo in a way. That it's if you keep doing that, we're not going to give you this, and eventually
With
they'll come.
our tax dollars, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, they'll eventually come to some kind of agreement. That's the way all of this works. Like, that's the way it works. It's a bargain chip. So, but that's what it just stinks that the officers, the firefighters that are on the other side of this, the people that are countering the terrorism, have to deal with this. Excuse me, BS. Like, it's a lot of political
Yeah,
stuff.
the people that pay the price are the guys on the front lines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have nothing to do with this. Like, but yeah, no, it's definitely a back and forth. And believe me, we had this story posted Facebook, and we had a few comments, and a lot of it was not very nice things to say about the governor of the state of New York. So it's, everybody has an opinion, but in the end, hopefully, as a nation, we can fund, the NYPD and the FDNY when it comes to counterterrorism. Like,
Well,
that's.
we say as a nation.
But yeah, it's federal funds. There's so many federal funds that disperse throughout the country, but
Yeah,
in a place where you don't want what happened before to happen again. Hope.
100%. 100%. All right. So moving on, we have our last two stories, and they are connected. So we're going to talk about autonomous vehicles, one in Miami-Dade and one in San Bruno, California. And I find them interesting. So I'm gonna address both of them. In Miami-Dade, the sheriff's office there has unveiled the nation's first autonomous cruiser. Now, my absolute favorite thing about this is that a couple of years back, I wrote an April Fool's article about an autonomous cruiser, a robot car, right? Well, here we are now. It's not science fiction, it's science fact. Miami-Dade has one, has all these cameras, has all this neat capability. It offers great visibility, blah, blah, blah. Um, Here's the downside: it can't arrest people, it can't handcuff bad guys. It's strictly a deterrent. And right now, it comes with a pretty hefty price tag. According to the article, and they're calling this thing a PUG, right? The Police Unmanned Ground. Is that what it's called? What's this? PUG. I'm trying to find what it
Yeah.
stands for.
It,
Uh, the Pug Patrol Partner.
it is
Anyway,
ground. Yeah.
if if more of these are made and sold to law enforcement, the price range will sit between $150,000 and $200,000 each. For that, we can easily put two cops on the street that can actually arrest folks, right? Okay. So we have this pug. Number one, unmanned police car, out driving around, great visibility, potentially great deterrent. But let's talk about the other side of autonomous vehicles. In San Bruno, California, a driverless vehicle um, uh, run by Waymo made an illegal U-turn right in front of some officers. Now, can you believe it? I mean, people do it all the time. They're like, yeah, okay, I don't care. Screw that cop. I'll make this U-turn. I know it's illegal. Now we don't even need the driver. The car does it by itself. But here's my question. If this car by Waymo can make an illegal turn, what can an autonomous police car do that we don't expect? And trust me, illegal U-turn wasn't expected. And does Waymo get a ticket for the traffic violations? Who pays it? All right. That's all of my worries and concerns. And that's from the cop perspective. Give me the citizen perspective.
So from the Waymo side, like that story, and I told you before I got to ride in one of those things when I was in Phoenix earlier this year, and it's something I
Crazy.
never
You're
would have.
crazy. I would not get in a car without a driver.
I got to try this, and it wasn't on highways or anything. It was back roads to get back to the airport, so it was pretty easy. But at the same time, like, what's the communication between Waymo and the police departments that are around that area? There has to be some kind of communication because yeah, what happens? You can't talk to the vehicle
What happens when a driverless police car pulls over a driverless Waymo car?
well, that's yeah, we're way far away from that. But in this situation, it's like, what if the Waymo bump something in front of it? Like it could happen. There's a little fender bender with the Waymo. How do you deal with that? So that is something I want to look more into. That's kind of interesting now with the Miami-Dade sheriffs. So this vehicle, was donated. That 150 to 200,000 price tag on that thing. It was donated by the policing lab. No taxpayer dollars were used to acquire it, but
Right.
it comes equipped. And listen, I would assume this is in the price range of that vehicle. Why it's so expensive? It comes equipped with a deployable drone, thermal imaging, 360-degree cameras, license plate readers, audio sensors, thermal has imaging twice on here, but touchscreen windows and much more. Basically, it's just packed with technology. And um, I honestly think that having something like this deployed, unmanned, and then having the ability to send a drone off from it or use a thermal imager, or kind of using it as roving surveillance on a crime scene, to send that, like, it's essentially a ground drone, right? There's a
Here's my
lot of
question.
issues. There's a lot of issues around it with just sending this thing out, and you have to pick your spot, and you can't send it, you know, Miami-Dade's. This is a more dense area. It's not a big, not sending it 50, 100 miles on country roads or anything like that. But but there's definitely things, and that's why it's not right. It's not actually being sent unmanned right now. They
For the
have
first year.
Yes,
Correct.
they have
For
an
the first
officer
year.
inside of it, so people can rest assured that they're not sending it out.
For the
But
first year. Here's my question, Paul. And
interesting.
second paragraph of the story. The self-driving police cruiser named Pug, Police Unmanned Vehicle, or Unmanned Ground, will serve as an additional tool for the sheriff's office. I'm all about that. 100%. That's fantastic. Rather than a non-human roving deputy capable of pulling over cars and issuing tickets. Isn't this a non-human roving deputy? And are they saying that this thing can issue tickets? Because how?
Well, no, it won't be issuing tickets. It's like extra surveillance is basically what it is.
Okay, I
That's what it is.
misunderstood that line. I'm like, how does
Yeah.
this thing write
No, no,
tickets?
no. That it will, yeah. That it will just serve as an additional tool, and it's not going to be not it's not going to issue tickets. It's not going to pull people over and uh talk to them. Uh,
I mean, no offense to this thing, but it reminds me when I look at the frozen image that's on the article First thing I think of because of the lighting and the way the smoke's done in the back. This is the Ghostbusters car,
Yeah.
just the way it reminds me of the
Or
thing. I think
like
that's pretty cool.
going way back in time here when I was a little kid, and it was already like super old by then,
Be
but I remember
careful.
watching these movies. Herbie the Love Bug. Remember that thing?
Oh,
The
that's really
love,
super old
well, I mean, it was back a while ago, right? Uh,
compared to you. I hear you.
yeah, this car's not going to come up next to you and like beep beep beep. You got to figure out what it's saying. Um, but yeah, it's technology. It's something that they're trying out. Is it going to be a thing that we're going to have to deal with tomorrow? No. Um, but in the
The
future,
next decade, yeah.
yeah, I mean, just the same thing with the drones. We're already doing it with that. I am kind of interested in how it looks like a cruiser currently, but it does have the whole thing on the top, like the Waymos and like those other ones, so it can see what it's doing. Um, but no, it's yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm really interested in seeing, and after a year, do they keep using this thing unmanned, like make it unmanned, and then see what it can do?
I
Um,
want to know who the deputy is that volunteers to sit in the passenger seat.
right?
I suck as a passenger with somebody driving in the car, and I still tip my hat to you. I think you're crazy for getting in a driverless vehicle as a taxi, Paul. I don't care. Back roads, great. It's just going to deliver me to the psycho down the lane, or it's going to drive off into a cornfield, whatever. I can't imagine being the deputy sitting in the passenger seat, stomping on the floorboards, trying to get the vehicle to stop. It's not. No, I can't imagine it.
Yeah, I want to know, where's the deputy sitting? Are they in the driver's seat? Are they in passenger seat? Or are they in the back seat?
Oh, hell no! Not just no. Oh, hell no! I ain't getting in the back seat.
So when I got it,
The whole thing, everything's electric, right? So you get in, you close the door's locked,
uh-huh.
and you're talking to Hal 2000,
uh,
who goes, "Well, I'm sorry, deputy, but your tie's not straight. I'll open the door when you fix your tie." I no, I'm not. I am too old school. No. All right. Anyway, that was our
yeah,
last story for today.
yeah, that
What
was
else?
the last one.
Where's Station Design stand, Paul?
Oh, so the Station Design Awards program is it's done as far as the nominations. We'll that'll be in the December issue. So thank you for everybody that submitted nominations for that. And the Station Design Conference will be next May. It's going to be in Reno, Nevada. This year it's the first time we've held it there, so that'll be a cool place to check out. And
Cool.
so if you guys go to fhstationdesign.com, you can get more information on that.
All right. And then since we're talking about conferences and stuff, our second annual Law Enforcement Leadership Summit is going to be in Tucson, Arizona in March. For all of you who are Wyatt Earp fans, and I don't know if anybody else is, if you go to the Leadership Summit, I am doing all I can because it's only about an hour drive. I'm doing all I can to get them to hold an event in Tombstone, which I know it's not the legendary home of law enforcement, but I feel like, I mean, the Earp brothers and OK Corral and Tombstone's got some law enforcement legendary ties. So, anyway, Leadership Summit, March, Tucson. I think, yeah, people ought to start looking into that. Thank you for this morning, Paul. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your lovely fall weather down there in Florida where it doesn't get below 70.
Well, thanks for everybody for joining us today.